Hi, this is Rhonda Wall from VA Village, and you are tuning in with me for Hey, Help Me Rhonda. Today we are going to talk about product launches. That is something that I get asked a lot of questions about, and something that I really enjoy doing as well. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. If you don't know me, if you're just tuning in and getting to know me, I am an online business manager and owner of VA Village, where we help coaches and consultants and small business owners manage the back end of their business. So, Hey, Help Me Rhonda is a show that I've created, and this is my second session. And we are going to talk about different things to do with your back end, setting up your back ends, running a small business, running an online business, and running a coaching business. So you get a lot of tips and tricks and things like that from the show. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you'll join me for the other shows as well. Once I finish, I'm going to kind of go over product launches and the best practices and some tips and kind of give you a checklist. So grab a pen and a piece of paper so that you can be writing these down. Later on, I will put in some cheat sheets and things for you up on the site, and I'll let you guys know when those are ready so that you can use those as well. I'm just getting started out, so you have to bear with me. And I'm being really courageous and also simultaneously broadcasting this on Blog Talk Radio. So I'm getting used to the Google Hangouts for one, and then doing Blog Talk Radio. So if I do something, I'm just going to go all out and do it, as you can tell. So once I finish, I'm going to bring on a couple of people in the audience who can also give us some tips and tricks on some different things and ask some questions. So we'll have a little Q&A banter at the end. So stay tuned for that, and if you want to come in and ask questions with me live, then leave a comment, let me know, and I might bring you in. All right, so I'm going to get started with the product launch. So if you're launching a product or a service or a program, which a lot of coaches do, you may be launching your coaching program, then I kind of want to give you best practices and kind of a checklist to go by. So got my little notes here so that I make sure that I cover everything for you guys. So doing a product launch, one of the questions that I get asked all the time is, I don't have a list, can I still do a product launch? And the answer is, of course you can. You just may need to do it differently. So if you don't have a list, you can broadcast your product launch on social media. So be active on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, places like that, and start building some friendships and relationships there, because that's going to help you with your product launch. Next thing is, how do you introduce your product? So you're going to need a way to introduce your product, and you can do this in different ways. One way is to do a webinar, and that would be to use one of the webinar services like GoToMeeting or Webinar Jam. There's Stealth Seminar. There's many webinar services, or you could do it as a tele-summit through like Instant Teleseminar and the free, you can even do free conference call. Even though I wouldn't recommend those, I think video is a little more personal and a way for people to get to know you. So I would definitely use video. You can even do Google Hangout, like I'm doing here. Just know that if you're going to do Google Hangout, you're going to want some practice time. So get with a friend, do some practice, because Google Hangout isn't the easiest thing to use, but it is. It's a good tool. And you can also you can take the links and you can embed them on your website. So you could do your webinar right from your website. That's not too hard to do. That's actually something that I can do, and I'm not a Google Hangout expert. I'm learning and I'm getting my feet wet. So it's a good tool to use, and it's free. So that's something that you could learn and use that for your webinar. Now, if you're new to this industry or any industry that you're in, then I would suggest doing your introduction in more of a Jeff Walker type launch. And if you've never heard of Jeff Walker, you can Google him, and he has some great videos on what his launches are about. But basically, his launches are like a 3 to 4 video series, where the first video you talk about a problem that people in your industry have, and then you solve the problem. And then you kind of give a teaser for the next video of what you're going to talk about. And you talk about a problem, and then you solve a problem. And then you give a teaser for the next video. You talk about a problem, and you solve the problem. And in the last video, the solution to the problem is to order your product or your program or your service. So that 3-series video is really good for people who are new to the industry, so that people get a chance to know you, they get a chance to know what your expertise is, and it really gets you out there. So I would recommend doing the 3 series for people who are new. And even if you're not new, you can still do it. If it's a new product or a new program that you're launching or a new audience, then that's a really good way for them to get to know you as well. So that's handling getting it out there. Another way to really enhance your product launch is to have JV partners. And that will be other people either in your industry or in industries that complement your industry that are willing to promote your product or your service or your program. So you would want to make those connections with other people and see if they would be willing to promote your program, and then you pay them a commission for any sales that are made from the people that come in from them. So for that, you're going to need an affiliate system, and you could use an affiliate plugin for your WordPress site, or you could use like the affiliate program that comes in One Shopping Cart if you use One Shopping Cart, so that you're tracking their links and they're getting credit for the people that they're sending. So that brings me to the next piece of a product launch, which is your opt-in page. So creating an opt-in page, people are going to opt in to watch your free webinar or to see your webinar series, and that's where you want to have your JV partners sending their leads. You want to send them to something free, because most of the JV partners' leads have never seen you and don't know you, so that's a good introduction where they can come and they can see you for free doing something. So that's what I would recommend that you have your JV partners promoting, is your free webinar or your webinar series, or however you're going to do it, and you do that through an opt-in page. So opt-in pages, you need to build those. So you can use different services for that. I personally recommend OptimizePress. It's very easy to use. They already have templates there for you, and you can just kind of put your information in there. You can also find people that are really good at OptimizePress that can do those for you too. Another service you can use is Lead Pages. It's not my personal preference, but a lot of people use them and love them, and it is easy to use. I just don't think it's as it's not as customizable as like an OptimizePress opt-in page, where you can kind of move things around where you want them more and really customize it for exactly what you want. So on your opt-in page, I would keep it super short and sweet, just what they're going to learn. Don't make it a long salesy kind of thing. Just a nice headline, some good copy, and some bullet points about what they're going to learn, and then have them opt in to go and see the webinar. And you can either have it ready there for them, or you have a scheduled webinar. However you want to do it, either is fine. Then once you do your webinar, at the end of your webinar or the end of your 3 series, then you're going to send them to a sales page. So you can create your sales page as well, and I prefer using OptimizePress for that as well, to create the sales pages. But you can do sales pages in other places too, like you can do your sales pages on on the lead pages. If you're going to do like a membership portal kind of program thing, you can create sales pages and opt-in pages through a program like Kajabi. For membership portals and membership programs, though, I recommend Optimized Press Member. So I'm an Optimized Press person all the way around. But that's personal preference. It's what I'm used to using, and that's what I usually recommend to my clients. I've used Kajabi as well, but it's just not as customizable. I'm a control freak, I guess, so I want to be able to control everything. I want to know exactly where it's going to be on the page. I want to move it around to where I want to move it. I want to make colors exactly the way I want to make them. So that's what kind of turned me on to Optimized Press, because it's extremely customizable. So that's why I like to use it. But if that's not important to you, you can use other things like the Kajabi or the lead pages. They're simple to use. So and they're not expensive either. So you can use those things, and everything's there for you. You have all your buy buttons, your opt-in buttons, and all that kind of stuff. So now talking about opt-in pages, that brings me into email marketing service, because these people are going to put their name and their email addresses in. And I know this is kind of elementary. Most of you people already know this, but for people who are new, they're going to put in their information. Where is this information going? It's going into your email marketing service. So you're going to want to have a good email marketing service. Don't use free services. I get on the soapbox about that. It's just, I won't say a whole lot about it because I've talked about it so many times. But it is, it's really hard to migrate your leads over to a really good service after you've gotten them into a free service, which you're going to outgrow pretty quickly. So pay for your email marketing service. Do Aweber, Constant Contact, iContact. All three of those are really good services. I personally prefer Aweber, and that's what I use. But you don't have to use that. iContact, Constant Contact are also good as well. So it's personal preference. And most of them have a free trial. So maybe try all three of them out before you commit to one, and see which one you like best. See which one you like building your emails in and your list, and which one seems easier to use to you. So that's I lost my train of thought. Okay, because I'm trying to watch comments and talk at the same time. I need to stop doing that. Okay. So that's for your email marketing service. And then when people opt in, you're going to want to put in an autoresponder, which is an email that goes out to them right after they opt in. And that's going to give them instructions on how to view your webinar, or dates and time, the link to tune in, wherever it's going to be, if it's going to be a hangout, or if it's going to be a webinar on your page, or if it's a link to like GoToMeeting or whatever. So make sure you have your autoresponder up. Next thing you're going to need, as far as emails, you're going to need promotional emails to send out to your list if you have a list. And you're also going to need a promotional email package for your JV partners. So this will be the emails that they are sending out to their list to introduce you and introduce your opt-in that you're doing, your webinar or whatever it is. So they're going to introduce your free offering that you have, so that you can get them on your list, and you can get them to come see you and see how wonderful you are. So you want to create that for them. Also include some social media posts as well that they can send out. And then if you don't have a list yourself, then you may want to focus more attention on the social media pieces and sending out to social media. If you're trying to bootstrap, you can, kind of come up with some social media posts to put out there yourself. If you would rather have a professional to help you, then, hire a social media professional that can really get things out there for you. And then a lot of the email marketing services that I talked about offer ways that you can capture leads right in your social media. So that's a really good idea too. And this launch is going to be a really good way to collect leads. So if you don't have a list, a good launch is going to be a good way to collect leads. It's going to be a good way for people to get to know you. and know what you do and know why they should be listening to you. So, you know, I have a lot of people that come to me and they say, oh, I want to launch my product. I've never done this before. I don't even have a website. I don't have a list, and I want to do a 6-figure launch. Well, sorry, but your first launch is probably not going to be a 6-figure launch. It could be, and believe for that if you want, and I think it should be positive, but it's probably not. So don't get your hopes up for that, but it's a really good, you still put yourself out there. Even if you only get a couple of sales or whatever, you put yourself out there and don't give up. Keep on trying, because it takes some time to build your reputation in this community. People have to get to know you, know that they can trust you, and then they'll buy from you. And once you build that reputation, then you don't really have to do a whole lot, and people will buy just because you tell them to. But it takes a little time to build up that reputation and for people to get to know you and know that you know what you're talking about. So going back to, you've got your JV partners are sending people to your opt-in, so they opt in, you do your webinar, and then at the end you're going to send them to a sales page. So you create your sales page, and there's a lot of help too online for creating good sales pages, for creating, there's a lot of swipe files too for creating headlines and the copy. So you want it to be really clear. You want to really speak to what their pains are and how your program or your product or your service is going to solve that for them. So do that. I also recommend maybe having like a 1 or 2 minute video on the sales page as well. Video is really taking off, and people like to see you. They like to see your smiling face. So put it out there, put it on your sales page. And so the next part of your launch is you have to have a way to collect some money. So people need to pay you for your program or your product. So you're going to want to use a shopping cart. And I personally recommend one shopping cart if you're just getting started. You can also use, for like your first or second launch, you could also just use PayPal if you don't have the resources to commit to one shopping cart. One shopping cart with the affiliate piece is about $99 a month. I highly recommend using that because you already have the affiliate piece built in there. But you could use a combination of like PayPal and then use an affiliate plugin on your WordPress site. Just be sure that whatever plugin you use integrates with PayPal so that it's tracking those sales correctly for you. And then once you set it up, you'll want to test it to make sure that your affiliates are going to get credit for what they're supposed to do, or for what they sell, I mean. So I would do that. Also with your JV partners, you want to be reminding them of when your promotions start, reminding them to send out their emails and their social media and all of that kind of stuff, because you know your JV partners get busy because they're running businesses themselves. So you may want to just send friendly reminders along the way too, to make sure that they're promoting for you and they remember to promote for you. So that's the checklist. So once you got everything set up, you send people to your opt-in, then you send them to your sales page, and then they run through your shopping cart, and you make the sales, and everything is wonderful, and you get to your 6-figure launch. So that's kind of the life of the launch and the checklist of what you need for a successful launch. And you can look, so you can Google search. You can also talk to other people who do different types of launches and see what they're using. The things that I'm telling you are things that I use with my clients and that I recommend because I see them work really well. Video launches, I think, work really well. Tele-summits can be really great, too, for interview type things. So if you want to do like a tele-summit, a free tele-summit, and have speakers on and all of that kind of stuff, that's a really good list building tool. So you may want to do something like that before you do an actual product launch, and that's a good way to collect leads, list build from the speakers that are coming on. I actually have the tele-summit queen Ivana Taylor in the audience. I'm going to bring her on in a few minutes so she can talk more about tele-summits and how they can be really great. They may not be huge money makers, but they're really good ways to collect leads. So I want to look, if you have any questions, please post them in the comments so that I can answer any of those questions, because I'm going to be looking there to see if anyone has any questions. So post them now. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my really good friend Ivana, and we're going to talk about some tele-summits, and I'm sure she'll have some questions about product launches too, because she loves to do product launches with me as well. So let me bring in Ivana right quick. Might help if I use the right keyboard. Here we go. All right. Miss Ivana, I know you're watching, so I've just invited you in. Watch for the invite and come on in here and we'll talk a little bit. I personally love doing product launches. I have a lot of people come to me for product launches, and you can have a lot of fun with it. You can be creative with it. You may come up with your own ideas as well. So don't be scared to use those, and don't be scared to put yourself out there. And another thing that people say, even as in here, yay, another thing that people say to me is, oh, I want this to be perfect, and this video wasn't just right, and I don't want to put it out there yet. And I've had people just be stuck, and they can't move any further because they're focusing too much on trying to be really perfect. And I'm telling you, you don't have to be perfect. You really don't. Just put yourself out there. Things don't have to be perfect. People like it that you're real. So, you know, your office doesn't have to look like a studio. Everything doesn't have to be real professional. They're going to trust you more to know that, hey, you know, you're doing this in your regular home office. You're successful at whatever you're doing, and that they can do it too. So it's going to make you a lot more personable if it's not too perfect. So put yourself out there. That's the biggest thing. Hi, Miss Ivana.
Hey, Miss Rhonda. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great, and you know that what I'm into these days is my very, very huge event.
I know your Bizapalooza is coming up.
It's coming up this summer, so yeah, I'm all in that conversation.
Yeah, so right now you're interviewing speakers and all of that and getting ready for that, and you're doing that as a tele-summit, right?
Happen to be doing it as what I call a hybrid event. I have done telesummits before, and I did a traditional telesummit as my first one. Did you help me with that one? That was like in a February.
I did. Yeah, that was one that that I helped you with. Yeah.
I remember we used instant teleseminar. I did it by the book. And now, I'm going to give you my opinion, but that doesn't mean, you know, like you were saying, you can definitely do a telesummit. Lots of people love audio.
Right.
I chose the next time I did this, I've chosen to do video and webinar format rather than telesummit because I happen to be a visual person. And one of the things that I noticed was that I had awesome experts on the telesummit, but I think that a lot of their great content was lost because it was all audio.
Right. Yeah, and I agree because you're going to have people in the audience that are either audible learners or they're going to be visual learners. So if you can do both, then that way you're covering everyone. I want to see people, and I like that even though I am an audible learner, and sometimes I'll have like a telesummit or something like that playing in the background while I'm working, and then if I hear something that sparks my interest, then I'll flip over and I'll look. So I can learn either way, but there's a lot of people that really need to see something up on the screen, and that really helps them. So yeah, I agree. I think it should be hybrid. It should be a little bit of both, and you can do that either through a webinar or, like you're saying, you have the audio and then maybe like some PowerPoint slides and and
Right.
things like that. So it doesn't have to actually be that person on camera, and some people just don't like to be on camera. So that's another option. If you don't want to be on camera, maybe have your best picture up and then have some PowerPoint slides or something going, so that way there is a visual there without you being on camera, and you get the audio as well. So I definitely agree with that.
And I'd recommend, I don't know if we did this with my original telesummit, but I would definitely recommend that you have your telesummit event transcribed, have each of the presenters transcribed. You can get great transcription done for not a lot of money. You can use VA Village, you can use Odesk, you can use a variety of different real sources to get that audio transcribed. So then that adds value when you want to resell that content.
Exactly. That goes into something else that that I was going to talk about too. So thank you for reminding me of that. That's repurposing.
Correct.
So all of this stuff that you're doing and you're putting out there, if you're putting it out on video or whatever, you can repurpose this stuff. And like Ivana said, you get it transcribed. People love to do that because a lot of people, I'm not one of them, but Ivana is, and she was telling me this one day. She likes to kind of just skim through the material and read where she wants to read. That's easier to do with written material than it is with a video. So, and then she doesn't have to worry about, oh, did I take notes on this? Or, like, if it's me, I have horrible handwriting, so I don't want to read my notes that I took. I would rather have them typed out. So that's an excellent way to do that. And you can find good transcriptionists on Odesk and the freelance websites and at VA Village, of course. So I definitely recommend that. And you can repurpose it. Also, too, on your programs, if you have a program that you want to do and you kind of have an outline of it but you haven't recorded it yet, you can do, Jeff Walker talks about this a lot, so a lot of it's his idea. I'm not the inventor of this, but it's something that I'm an advocate for, is creating the program as you go. So you can sell that program up front, make some money off of it, and you get paid to do the program. And the beauty of that is a program takes time, your skills, recording, all of that. And if you don't get a good response and you don't sell any, it's no harm, no foul, because you haven't put in all that time to put a program together that is just there's not a need for it, maybe. Or maybe you haven't found the perfect audience for it. Or okay, I think we had just a little glitch there where we froze up or whatever, but we're all back and we're well. So I want to pick up where we left off. We were talking about creating your content as you go. So you sell the product first, see who signs up. If anyone signs up, then you can you can do your program as you go. So you plan dates and do content that way. So you're getting paid to create your content.
So I have a question. What if you launch something out there and instead of getting 50 people to sign up, you get like 5? What should you do?
Yeah, that's a good question. And for me, and I've had clients do that. They launch a program and they only have a handful of people sign up. I would still do it. And you can do it as, consider it like a beta launch and still record your content. You got people participating, even if it's 5 people, and that might be even better for you, especially if it's your first program, because you won't be so nervous because you are only broadcasting and doing the content with 5 people instead of 50 people. So it might make you actually a little more relaxed, but you'll still get your content recorded. They'll get what they paid for, even if it is 5 people. And you can be more engaged with those 5 people. And since it's a handful of people, too, you can also ask them for their feedback on it, too. And you could even say to them, you know, well, we only had 5 people sign up. Maybe give them a little extra bonus. Maybe you give them, like, you know, an hour of your coaching time or 30 minutes of your coaching time or something for taking the chance and signing up with you. And you really personalize it for them and ask them to give you feedback. And that way, as you're developing the program, if there's maybe something they didn't get or you know, maybe something was hard to follow along, or it was hard for them to find something somewhere, then you've only got those 5 people that you're trying to please, for one, because when you're running a back-end program with a membership site like that, you're going to have customer support issues and things like that. So it's a little easier to manage with only 5 people, and you get to kind of learn trial and error that way with only a handful of people. So that way you can launch it again once you have it recorded, launch it again evergreen, and you've kind of got those kinks worked out, and you're ready for a bigger launch, and you're ready for more people to come in. So for me, I think that's even better, especially if it is your first time launching a product, because you do get that chance to kind of play around with it and see how it's going to go without managing a huge amount of people.
Oh, so that's great advice. Thanks.
You are most welcome. So what are, I want to ask you some questions. So what are some things that you've learned along the way of doing tele-summits and tele-seminars and things like that? I know you've had some bumps in the road and that kind of stuff. So what is like your best advice that you can give for someone doing something like that for the first time?
Okay, so my best advice is to not overthink. So advice tip number 1, I don't know how many there are, so let's just kind of point them out. Advice tip number 1, do not get stuck and overthink your theme. Pick a theme and go with it. Now you actually have 2 options with a theme. You can pick a broad theme and have all different kinds of experts, and that's a great choice for your first time, right? Because you may not have invited lots of speakers, or you may not know a lot of people. So if you pick a broad theme, like mine was coaching business hacks, how to stop trading time for money, or how to leverage time for money. So, and I had all different kinds of people, right? So that's one option. Another option is if you only know people in a tight, narrow niche, pick a theme that's along that tight, narrow niche. So you can pick a theme on how to build a list, and then have all different kinds of experts on building a list, or how to write a sales page, or like, you know, whatever your thing is. Health and wellness, you might just do nothing but abs, right? All different ways of toning your abs, right? So that's my thing. Don't overthink the theme. I know I got stuck and I was like thinking and changing my mind. Pick something, don't change your mind, go with it. Tip number 2, make sure that when you're selecting your speakers, the success of your telesummit, like how many people you're going to get, is really a function of how big these people's lists are. And if you're just starting out, it's going to be kind of hard to invite people with gigunda lists. So just make it okay for yourself for the first one that you're going to get people that maybe don't have a large list. Maybe they just have a couple hundred people. Maybe they have a couple thousand people. I know a lot of the gurus out there are talking about joint ventures with people with 20 and 30,000 person lists. That ain't going to happen for you. If they don't know who you are, if you don't have a brand, I mean, good luck with that, right? So,
I think someone's trying to call you.
Somebody was trying to call me there, and I wish they would ping me first. So anyway, the other thing that you want to do, so point 1, don't overthink the theme. Point 2, be judicious and about who you select and what size their list is, right? Number 3 is promotion, 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 right? This is where you've got to get some help. There is no way on this planet I could have done this without Rhonda, my online business manager, right? You want to work with someone who has these emails laid out, who has all these things, and the only thing that's going to make your telesummit a success is if those things not just go out on time, but that you confirm with that telesummit expert that their promotions are going out. A good tip for that is get on their list. If you get on their list, you're going to know that it went out. The second thing is you need to, the second thing you got to do is, what is it that I want to say about that? Oh, if you need to schedule an appointment with your expert's admin or online business manager or VA to make sure those things are scheduled out. This is the most important thing that you will do in the entire telesummit. It's the most important thing. Got to get done right, right? So theme, speakers, scheduling those promotions, right?
Yeah,
And
that's definitely, and you need someone that's going to follow up. If you don't have the time to be following up, that's why, like when we do your telesummits, we actually create autoresponders to
yes,
go out to the speakers to remind them the day before the promotion starts, and
right?
then we send one out about midway to remind them to be promoting. Also, tell them to put you on their list, follow them on. Their social media to see that they're actually sending stuff out because they're busy too. They're running a business, and probably your business, as much as they love you and they want to support you, your business just isn't at the top of their list. It's just not. And they are busy. So, and if they don't have a virtual assistant or an online business manager, it makes it a little harder for them. But you just need to be reminding them. Send friendly reminders. Don't get ugly with them. They are being nice enough to promote you. But just remind them and give them little nudges along the way. That's something that I saw, and that's something I tell my clients too. From working with you, even I was trial by fire, and that's how I learned all of these things too. That's the biggest obstacle, is keeping up with the speakers and making sure that they are promoting, making sure they
Right.
know how to promote, they have information they need. Like, we don't send them straight to an affiliate back office to collect material. We will actually create promotional packages and send them directly to them with their affiliate links already in there, so that they can just copy and paste that and not have to log into an affiliate back-end office, because a lot of them either don't have time to do it, or they don't want to figure out how your affiliate back office works and can't find the material. So best practice is just to send it all to them in like a Word file so they can tweak it to their voice or whatever. So that's a really good point, and that's something that we both learned doing telesummits together.
Exactly, and there's actually two schools of thought on that, right? We've been sending people large promotion packages that have all the tweets and the articles and the cut and paste, and that's certainly a great way to go. That's how we've been doing it. But there are
Right.
other people who have their promotional packages laid out in such a way that only sends them like tweets. Put these tweets in, then here is your article, then here is your email, like little by little, so that it's not
Yeah.
all big,
Yeah,
overwhelming.
something that I did with another client, and we'll probably need to do this with you as well, even while I'm talking about it, but that's what I just did with another client who's running a promotion. What we did was, at the beginning, we sent them the full package. We sent them the
Right.
full affiliate package with everything in it. Then what we did is we scheduled autoresponders to go out, and like each day, the day before they're supposed to send an email, we sent them an email with just that email in it, and then
Correct.
like a couple of social media posts too, so that it was broken down. What they got the full package, so if they just wanted to use the full package and give it to their VA, say, here, schedule this in, they can do that. But they were also getting it in little bites too along the way. So we kind of doubled up on them,
And
and that's working really well. So yeah, definitely I recommend that, and that's something we'll be doing with yours as well. But that makes sense, because then we can remind them the day before one's supposed to go out and say, here, this is the email that you're supposed to send out that was in your packet, and then here are a couple of social media posts that you can use as well. So that way they don't have to go look for that package again. If they just kind of toss it to the side or whatever, you're sending it again and just sending the information that they need to send out that next day.
I love that. I
That's
really
a really
do.
good point.
And you know, another really awesome tip I learned, and this will be my last one, I participated in a really terrific telesummit. And now normally the way the process goes is that let's say you run your telesummit, you've got all your speakers, and then once it's all over, you sell the content, right? What this woman did that I really loved is, I've done the other one where you quote unquote sell the content and didn't sell anything. Now granted, it was a small telesummit, it was my first one, all that.
Right.
What she did is she sold in advance the completed telesummit, and she actually got really good results with that. So I'm going to try that the next time. Actually, we're going to do it with Bizapalooza. We're actually going to give people the option to buy last year's Bizapalooza as well as register for this year's, and then they can buy this year's also, and they'll have, so you can get last year's, register for this year's, and have the option to purchase this year's entire Bizapalooza if you can't attend. So just love that. I'm definitely incorporating that.
Yeah, that's an awesome idea. And with people who are more known and more experienced in the industry like you, that's a great idea because you do have all of that experience and you should be selling these tele-summits, and you have a lot of great speakers on, professionals, all of that. So yeah, I definitely recommend that, especially if you're already an expert in your field and you've been in the business for a long time. If you're just getting started, you might want to do just a free one so people can get to know you, and that's good. And then once you've done a free one like that, like even, I mean, she started out doing free ones, and so now she's moving into selling them. So they definitely can turn into money makers. Even if at first you just want to get yourself out there and collect some leads, you can do them for free. But know that once you do this and people get to know that, you know what you're talking about, you're having great speakers on, they'll be willing to pay for it. They'll be willing to pay to see you and the speakers as well.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been great information. I think we ought to wrap it up because I know it's Memorial Day weekend, and I know everyone's excited to get that weekend started. Probably a lot of people traveling this weekend, so be safe if you are traveling for the Memorial Day weekend. We've had a great time. Next week on the show on Friday, 1 o'clock, we will be talking about outsourcing. So I'm going to talk about some of the great outsourcing services out there, and I'm going to be very unbiased. I know I'm an outsourcing company. I'm kind of an outsource myself, but I didn't start out this way. I started out actually working on a lot of the outsourcing platforms and services. So I'm going to talk about those, which ones are great to get outsource work. And I'm also going to talk about if you have a service that you sell, how you can actually get clients from some of those outsourced sites and services. That's how I actually started getting clients myself. That's how I got Miss Ivana Taylor from Odessa. So she met me there, and I did a few little projects for her. So that's a good way to kind of give people a little sample of what you're doing. So we're going to talk all about that next week. So join us for the outsourcing. And if you'd like to talk to me more about your business or your product launch, you want a little bit of advice, go over to vavillage.com, and I have a form there you can fill out and you can schedule some time with me. If you're wanting to really get into your marketing and your messaging and all of that, then you need to go see Miss Ivana Taylor. And Ivana, go ahead and give your plug. Tell them where they can go to find more information out about you.
Absolutely. Head on over to DIYMarketers.com, take our personality assessment. You can also schedule a consultation. Lots of good stuff over there. So join us there.
Yeah, do that. And the personality test is awesome because it kind of drills things down for you and makes marketing easy for your personality. So I highly recommend that. And I help put some of the back-end stuff together, so I got sneak peeks of it, and I think it's awesome. So it's a free personality test. Go take it. And that way you're not doing a lot of marketing that you don't need to be doing. Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much, Ivana, for being my guest. I appreciate it. Sorry about our little glitch, but we got it finished, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.